Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sampson and Jim Jonas with another episode of Veterans in Politics. Today we have Leo Blundo, Nye GOP chairman and former Nye County commissioner. But before we get to Mr. Blundo, Jim, you have any rants?
No, actually, I don't.
Okay, Jim has no rants. Leo, how you doing, man?
I literally don't. I don't have any rants other than I just wanted to say one thing.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, and everybody calm down. We've lived through a lot of presidents. Mm-hmm. If you don't like Donald Trump, he's not going to destroy the country. Just like I thought, with all due respect, and Steve lectured me on this, I thought Obama was going to wreck the country, not because he was a black man, just because he was a socialist and Marxist. But guess what? We got through it, and he ended up being a pretty good president. And he was effective, and we're all still here. So everybody just calm down, take a deep breath, and just do your research. This is something Steve and I have been working on for years. Research the candidates, the ones that you think are going to have the most positive impact on your life and hold your ideals. Just go to the polls and vote for them. Mm-hmm. The hysteria post-election is just out of control. Just calm down. Just do your civic duty. That's all I got to say.
Well, I think I'm going to say this on every show. There's 67 judicial seats up for grabs in 2026. All you attorneys out there, figure it out. Mr. Blundo.
Sir.
Tell us about you.
Well, I'm back doing what I like doing for a livelihood. I'm back in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Never left, but
what kind of restaurant?
Italian.
Ooh,
the best.
Yeah,
yeah,
You got
absolutely.
the mobs there?
Any
mobsters?
We don't talk
Jimmy
about
the Fingers, Tony the Hatchman.
Rumored. What's his name? They still can't find him. He's over at my place. Rumored. We don't talk about him.
Oh, you don't.
We're still looking for him. We don't talk about Hoffa because if
you're still looking for Hoffa,
we're still. Well, you guys are looking for him. I mean, if he came by, I wouldn't know. So we do Italian food that people enjoy.
Yeah,
and then I help people best I can.
Okay.
I did government.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in a former life.
Okay.
So now I call it, navigating the travesties of government because it's very challenging, very difficult. Well, have you tried to get a business license lately? At least where I live, in my neck of the woods.
Not in Nye County.
I mean, it's a mess. Clark County, I will say this. I'm in Clark County. City of Las Vegas, very simple, very streamlined, very simple.
Yeah.
Everything's online. If you come out in my neck of the woods, I don't know. They got paper half, online half. They don't talk about it half. I don't think they actually have gone through the process of doing it. So
okay.
I've done it a few times, so I understand it, but that makes me an expert. Now, it should be simple for average Joe to go over there and go like this, put in your info, and get her done. So even the Secretary of State's got that side of the equation figured out. But I think we've had a long line of Secretary of States that have tried to streamline that side. The election side, not so much. The business side, I'll give them a little bit of credit where it's due.
So, are the brothels gone now out of
what do you mean,
Nye County? They still there?
Yeah, they're doing great.
Oh, I heard that they were shutting down. What's that one guy that won an assembly and he passed away?
Dennis Hoff.
Dennis Hoff.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard.
With the Love Ranch.
Yeah, I heard his got shut down or something. No,
Well, guy died.
I know, but I figured that it wasn't a trust and they keep
right,
it
but
going.
he was the sole licensee. That's why it didn't remain open. The other one up north,
okay.
the other lady, Madame Suzette, she was on the license. There was a different operation up there, just on the paperwork side. So unfortunately, this one, it was just him, and when he died, that was the end of that conversation.
You know what? It's so important to make sure that if you want your legacy to live on, you got somebody to keep it going. Jim Jonas, keep it going. You know what I mean?
I think his legacy is going to continue on in the fact that he got elected posthumously, and Madame Suzette is running the show up north.
Okay.
So, I mean, good luck. God bless. She looks happy now from what I've seen online and whenever I've run into her. So, God bless. I'm happy
So it's still happening there in Nye County, the brothels.
Yeah, we still have 3.
Okay.
Yeah, one in Amargosa.
Right.
And you got the 2 in Pahrump.
Okay. And the reason why I'm so, adamant about it, I want to make sure that, the ladies have a job. I don't want them out on the street or anything like that.
No, they do.
Right, Jim?
Yeah.
We'll make sure they're all employed.
Yeah, you have.
And you guys get taxes from it, right?
Well, let's not get overzealous. I like how we throw that one around. Oh, you get so many in taxes, so much in taxes. You make a lot of money. I promise, so much money. You won't know what to do with it, right? No, well, look, guys, come on.
He sounds like Trump.
Exactly. That's
Look,
how I'm like.
I'm no
what is
Shane
this?
Gillis.
Trump
Gillis is the best.
Everything is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
gonna
so
be
marvelous.
The biggest, most beautiful building anyone's
It
ever
just
saw.
listen. If I don't do the hands, it don't sell. Okay, the hands is everything. All right, we love it. Yeah. But I'll tell you this: the brothels are not the tax base. If the brothels close tomorrow, like the county is going to close.
Out of work.
No, absolutely not.
What else you guys got going on up there?
Just look, but county taxes, the revenue is, you got the sales tax, property tax. I mean, those are your bases of fortitude. That's where the money's coming from. That's funding the majority of things. We call it like C-tax. There's a couple other things, consolidated tax. There's things that are just built into it. But I mean, the brothels are out there, maybe a couple $100,000 a year. It's not this crazy amount of money.
So what brings in money to Nye County then? If it's not the brothels, I thought it was the brothels that was doing it.
Property tax is a huge percentage, and then C-tax, which is, like the majority of C-tax is sales tax. People buying commerce. You go buy a hat. $10, 7.6%, the 76 cents tax. That coming back through the retailers. That's the majority of the tax between those two. That funds the majority of everything.
Is there a lot of people moving up there?
I think we had, obviously, California had an exodus. You saw that. But, people came out in the last, I'd say, 4 years. For the last census, we were the highest percentage town. We had the highest growth, 19% in the country. And that was huge. But yeah, I think we've definitely been seeing people moving into town. I've seen a lot of new faces. Personally, I've seen new faces. But that town is, we're known for freedom, known for being very patriotic. And what you notice is people kind of go, yeah, you know what? I'm tired of the city life, or I'm in a point where at one point in time, we were known to having like cheaper costs. I don't know if that's known anymore across this country. I don't know where cheaper costs can be found. If you find them, let me know, because we're all looking. It's just a really dire situation with the inflation. But the cost of living is a little bit cheaper there. At one point, it was significantly cheaper than Vegas, where you could afford the drive, no problem. But now it's, I'd say it's no different. It's like a suburb of Vegas, bedroom community of Vegas, no different.
There was a project you were working on, right? Some election or something like that?
Well, we were watching
Tell
this
me about
election.
that.
We've been watching this election. Everybody's been watching very closely. But I'll tell you this, you can say what you want about Nye County. We did a really good job this year, okay? And look, I like to be critical. I'm known for being very blunt and very critical.
What do you mean by you did a very good job this year? What does that mean?
Well, from the party aspect, we killed it. We had record turnout, so we cranked it up, turned the juice. It helps when you have a great candidate. I think Trump's a fantastic candidate. He's really good at not just getting a message out there, but getting the attention and the wherewithal. Shake it up.
Shake it up, baby.
Gets people out there.
The weave.
Right.
He understands the weave.
Yeah, you gotta play that campaign game, and he's really good with earned media, which is like TV time, et cetera, et cetera. So he's really good at that, getting the message out, and that attracts young voters. That attracts voters, period. So I think here specifically with Nevada, he had a strong message, no tax on tips. If you don't think that was a strong winning message, I don't know what can of pop you're drinking, bud, because you better go sniff that. What is it? 34% of Nevadans work in hospitality, maybe higher percentage. If you start adding in other sectors, I'm just talking like servers, bartenders, right? And I'm saying 34%. You can add a lot of other things that get tipped in some way, shape, fashion, or form.
Hookers, brothel. They should get some tips too.
A small percentage, but it may be significant for an uptick.
Right.
So when you start adding all that together, but for us out there, we had a great candidate. We had record turnout under myself as chairman, my vice chair, my treasurer, our secretary. We had a great team, great volunteers. We really did the job. So we did our job on the GOP side. Now you flip around, the clerk, they were not exactly prepared for all the new registrations, and that's part of why it took so long. But outside of that little linchpin, right, and that's candidate excitement. People showed up for him on the last day. Outside of that, they did an excellent job. They counted. They did the job they could. Now, I'm concerned. I'm like looking in Vegas, and these guys are like losing ballots. Oh, look, I found one. I don't know. We deleted a bunch. I got a mailbox on fire. I mean, what the hell is going on over here? They can't count, or are you guys trying to figure out how much more you need to count or create?
So Chairman Blundo, do you think the Republicans did a good job in this state?
I think they did the job. Look, it's all volunteers.
Okay, they haven't won a U.S. Senate seat since Dean Heller. They haven't won a congressional seat since Crescent Hardy. You think they did, besides Mark Amadei up north?
He does a great job.
Can
we put that on the record? He does an excellent job.
He's secure. He's secure forever if he wants to stay there. But I'm saying, with the other seats, 1, 3, and 4 congressional districts, haven't won a congressional seat since Crescent Hardy from Mesquite in 4, and haven't won a U.S. Senate seat since Dean Heller. So you think the GOP is doing a great job?
I think the GOP is doing the best job they can, and it's a challenge.
Now it's the best job they can.
Well, they can. Well, now you're adding other seats in there. You know?
Of course.
I mean, you got to have strong candidates. I think Sam was a great candidate. Great story, great message. And he's going to do.
Sam was a sucky candidate.
I don't think so. I think
Sam
the man had a good story.
Poor Sam, poor me.
Get him started.
He was a sucky candidate. He had no substance.
I want you to know this is a subscription. The pay-per-view part's going to start now. Okay, make sure you swipe your card.
He had no substance. He was jumping on Donald Trump's bandwagon about no tax on tips. He had
just like Kamala Harris. Remember, she did that
yeah,
right
she
away.
did it too. He had no original idea. He was a hollow candidate. And I said it all along. I wore the shirt. I said, I told you so. Said all along that it would take a female to beat a female in this U.S. Senate race. And I wasn't trying to be sexist. I was just trying to be real because I knew the abortion thing was coming up. I knew the transgender thing would have been an issue. I knew all that stuff was coming up. All that domestic stuff that Sam had no clue.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn.
Steve's done with his mini rant.
I think he was a good candidate. He had all the things.
Why didn't he win?
He did the fundraising. Well, I mean, look, in this state, I think, in my mind, we were talking about this just a little bit beforehand. You have Democrats that are party people, and you have Republican party people. They're going to vote down the ticket. But now your candidate at the top of the ticket just ain't doing there's no performance, And so you're like, listen, Trump said, I'm going to do the thing. No tax on tip. It's a Nevada thing. I don't know about the rest of the country. You know what I care about? I care right here at home. And if you're one of these hardworking people that, you're working on the Strip and that can have an impact, just the sheer hope of that coming to fruition. Let's just leave it there. Just the hope of that fruition. You go, you know what? Harris just isn't producing or doing the things. What message does she have? Just tell me what message she had. She didn't want to do interviews, couldn't take hard questions. Everything had to be spoon-fed to her. I mean, so let's just take that. So you go, you know what? I'm going to vote
Sam
Trump.
Brown, not going to.
I'm going to go Trump, and they vote party. The rest.
You know what? People say. People say to me, they say, you know what? Oh, Sam got his election stolen. No, he didn't. People just didn't want to vote for him. I mean, I voted for Trump, and I didn't vote for Brown. I went with Janine Hansen from the IAP. That's who I voted for, and I'm proud of it. You know why? Because he was a hollow candidate. He had no. Tell me, why do you think that he was a great candidate?
I think that man is the embodiment of what I say usually whenever I'm at, an event or something of that effect. I'll give you a great example. Okay. I'm over here telling people,
give it to me.
Go vote, right?
Give it to me.
And I would say this no matter your party affiliation, because I think voting is your civic duty.
Why is he a great candidate?
It's coming, right? You got to build it up. We got viewers.
All right, build it up, baby.
They're paying for this.
Build it up.
I'm trying to fundraise
like Lego.
Right. So you got to. I always tell people, our forefathers fought, bled, and they died. They put their lives on the line for us to enjoy the liberties we're here having today. Mm-hmm. You got to go vote. Mm-hmm. I think Sam is the embodiment of that. That boy put his life on the line. It got blown up, and here he is, still coming back trying to.
He violated general order. Okay, he violated general order. He wasn't supposed to be going after where he went. He violated general order. He's supposed to be securing some turbine or something like that. He didn't have no orders to leave his post. He left his post on his own arbitrarily. and he went down an area he's not supposed to go down, and he hit an IED, and his Hummer got blown up, and he got blown up, and his driver got killed. Now, if anybody would have done that, they would have got court-martialed for destruction of government property, their body, destruction of government property, the Humvee, and murder charges on them for the driver. That's what they would got. When he was in a hospital bed, he got captain bars. He didn't do anything to get captain bars. He was in the Army for 2 years. Usually you got to be in the Army for 5 years to get captain bars. And I'm a vet. I did 12 years, okay? So I'm speaking as a vet. I'm not speaking as a civilian. I'm speaking as a veteran. 6 years in the Marine Corps, 6 years in the Army, okay? That's how he got his captain bars, on his back. Didn't do anything. Didn't command troops or nothing like that. So you tell me he's a great guy?
I think anybody who served this country is a great guy.
Absolutely.
Man or woman.
But
they put their lives on the line.
But I know a lot of Marines and a lot of Army people that went in combat, fucking bullets flying. They went and they saved this guy. They went and saved that guy. They getting shot up. They saved this other Marine. He didn't do none of that. He violated a general order and he got blown up. He has no substance.
That is your thoughts and opinions. And clearly your emotions, which I can appreciate. But
tell me what Sam Brown said he was going to do for this state.
I mean, go SamBrown.com. Go pull it up on his stuff. You want me to be his campaign guy?
No,
you want to talk about...
You said he's a great guy.
I think he's a great guy.
Okay. I want to know what Sam Brown was going to offer the state of Nevada. Do you know when he was in Texas, he said it will take the act of God to get me to leave Texas? And here he is in Nevada. What does Sam Brown do or say he's going to do for this state of Nevada? I want to know. I'm just curious. I'm dying to know.
Oh, okay.
Because nobody has never told me. And I'm asking what Sam Brown is going to do for this state.
Well, why don't we call his campaign people? Because I'm not his campaign guy. So here's the thing, Steve. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be a bully pulpit to just sit here and kind of get lambasted for Sam Brown. I think he's a great guy. You don't. And that's fine. We can be men and disagree about that. However, I think in full transparency, you did run Stephanie Phillips's campaign. And I believe those two ran against each other at some point. If they did great or if they didn't, great. But you know what? That's great that you did opposition research and you're trying to make all these points and arguments. I'm here to talk about the election, baby.
Tell me.
This cycle.
Tell me.
You know, and he was on there and she wasn't. I mean, I don't know what you're coming after me for that.
I'm not coming after you. You said he was a great guy, and I want to know how you felt that he was a great guy. I want to know.
I think you're a great guy too. You know, you served this country. You've put your life on the line. You wrote that check too.
So that's what you mean by great guy.
I can say thank you for that, can't I?
That's okay.
I think more Americans should say thank you for that. A lot of people just don't understand what a veteran is. Right?
So you mean he was a great guy because he served?
Well,
not because he did anything.
Out of service is doing something. Let me tell you, if you don't believe me, well, let's go for a walk down the street. You see a lot of people that don't do.
I did 12 years.
Sorry. Okay, and I can appreciate 12 years.
Can we pause for a quick second so I can ask a question?
I'm getting fired up.
No, it's fine. I've been dealing with this guy forever. He's one of my best friends in the world. I love Steve Sanson.
Thank you, Jim.
But so let's Steve and I have had this discussion about Sam Brown. Yeah, it's Steve Sanson and I have had this discussion about Sam Brown. I don't think he's a great guy. I just whatever, but I respect his service. But let's get back to
thank you for saying that
because of your role. Okay, so one of the things that concerns me, and so viewers and listeners already know I had spoken about this before, and I'm super excited that Donald Trump won. But we do have to get back to the fact of Nevada is still a blue state now. I mean, so we got one senator, cool, and I'm not trying to be negative on that one, but at the same time, it's like for the most part, we're a blue state now. So, what on the GOP side are we going to do to try to get Nevada back to being a red state? Because in your role, that's kind of your job to try to get us back to being a red state.
There's 17 of us chair people throughout the state where we're trying to claw that back. And I'll tell you this, I mean, it's a challenge. I hear where you're saying we're a blue state. For lack of a better, I don't feel like arguing with you on that one.
Right.
I don't think we're blue. What I will say is I think you got a starting point in what you saw this cycle. We had assembly seats that flipped. We're out of the super minority in the assembly, which is a huge accomplishment. So what you definitively saw is I saw an active governor who put his name and stuck his neck out for a lot of people, okay? And I saw a clawing back of that progressive ideology that's just, we're worried about all this stuff that ultimately, I'm not confused. Man is a man, a woman is a woman, X, Y, X, X, X. I mean, there's certain things I'm not sitting here trying to discuss and debate because I know what biology is. I went to that class and I passed it when I was in high school. Yeah. So there's things that I'm not sitting here losing my mind about. Well, they're over here running around like, crazy people. Fine, fair enough. You do that. But I'll tell you, there was a referendum. Then in Nevada said, we're kind of tired of that. That's right. The Republicans got a super minority. We're able to start doing some stuff. The governor's going to have his veto. And I think some of those checks and balances are coming into play. Look, you're just not going to win it all in one night. It ain't happening. And I'll say this, that's amidst of the exodus of California moving to Vegas. So you gotta really factor in some of those key points. The exodus from California, typically when you see blue, they move blue, they stay blue, they vote blue. And they continue to vote for the flawed policies because it feels good. I didn't see that. I definitely saw a shift, and we're thankful for that. So now the momentum, we'll have the governor on the ballot again. I believe he's going to run for re-election. Don't quote me. I'll be in full support of Governor Joe Lombardo. If he runs again, I think he'll have the right apparatus. But moving forward, looking forward, to have successful elections, you need secure elections. I'm still concerned about illegals voting. We have an attorney general. And look, I've got no personal beef against, A.G. Ford. I can appreciate his story. Some people in the party and the GOP say, well, he got arrested so many times. I'm like, listen, guys, before you start talking about that, I'm sure you got arrested for something you like. Twice. Come on.
And convicted too.
Who?
A.G. Ford.
Yeah, okay, fine. And?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, everybody wants, all these people, I don't like this. They want everybody to have this clean record. That doesn't exist. Right. You got no experience. If you don't make mistakes and you don't stand back up and you don't fight for what you believe in and try to make better decisions, what experience you have? It's the same thing where you have a cop that's never done anything wrong and they kind of get on that wrong horse where, everything is heavy-handed for everybody and they kind of look down on people. Those are not the people I want to see in law enforcement necessarily. You know what I mean? You ever get pulled over and you're like, dude, come on, you in the wrong, bud.
Made $20,000 when I got pulled over.
Is that why you're at the brothel? I had it in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to ask, but you mentioned it. So what I'm saying is I think there's catharsis and there's a lot of learning, growing, and maturing. Politically, I think he's making a lot of poor choices. If he is going to run for governor, he's over here wanting to defend illegals. Guy, come on. What are we talking about here? They're illegal. They violated the law being here. There's compassion. There's empathy. There's having a lot of that stuff. But you, the law guy, man, not the empathy guy, okay? You want empathy. Call somebody. Call your therapist. So I think, again, people will be critical of him on that note. I don't, those things don't necessarily, quote, bother me. But again, you got Governor Lombardo, who's doing a great job. You got A.G. Ford. Ford wants these illegals voting. And if you notice, Kamala, she didn't win states with voter ID laws. She didn't win any. So what does that tell you? I don't know if there's a correlation. Maybe I just don't see what everybody else is seeing. But so here in this state, we got a problem. Look, and I understand, you had that, what was it, mailbox? No, ballot box, right, Steve? Caught somebody threw fire on it.
Yeah,
that's very concerning.
When did that happen?
He was here in Vegas before the election was over. I don't know, first week of early voting. Somebody could pull it up. That happened. I mean, listen, I think that's an exigent circumstance. Happens, okay? You want to call it a terrorist threat, whatever you want to call it. But that's a problem right there, number one. But this other thing I don't have an answer to. So when I saw the rolls of the votes, they had 28,000 deleted votes. Why? Why are they deleting votes? Can't get an answer. But, Cisco says, we got the most secure elections. I'm like, bull,
Yeah.
all day long, bud. Maybe if you stop doing some press conferences, do some work,
Right.
maybe you get the job done.
Yeah.
And then, you got Chuck Muth doing, the Pigpen Project. They're cleaning out, and they're trying to really
And I
work
think Chuck
with people.
Muth is a racist.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the beauty of this country. We have freedom of speech, freedom of thought. If you don't like that, Canada's right up the border.
I know.
Forced compelled speech,
Let's bring some color over here, Jim.
Right.
Get him some crayons, would you please? He's hungry. He hadn't had lunch. That's a joke, guys. Come on.
I might get a pizza.
We're laughing.
Crayon pizza? Come on. All right. So there's, again, he's been trying to clean the voter rolls. Cisco gives this, unspoken mandate to all his clerks. Don't follow it. I mean, this guy is the chief election guy, and he's making mistakes, big ones. And who's paying for it is me, you, all of us.
Right.
And I think that's unacceptable. So I'm concerned what's happening here in Vegas because we get the brunt end of the stick. Everybody's always poking fun. Oh, Nye County, ha ha ha. Well, we did it right. I'm happy that our clerk, listen, there's going to be some wrinkles, but we're not talking about wrinkles. We're talking about tears in the sheets.
Right.
Big problem. We need answers. Why not do a press conference? Listen, there's these deleted votes. This is what happened. A little transparency, right?
I wanted to jump on what Jim was saying about this being a blue state, and I think I know where he's coming from. There's 2 Senate seats. They're all 2 Democrat.
Mm.
There are 4 congressional seats, and 3 of them are Democrat. So based on that analysis, I would think that this is a blue state. Wouldn't you?
It's very tough to beat gerrymandering. So the last cycle, when they made those districts, remember Dina Titus blew up? It was all in the news because they started screwing around with her district. She was like, we want to talk safe.
But what about
That
the 2
wasn't
Senate
safe.
seats that have nothing to do with gerrymandering?
No, I understand that. But I got to start somewhere with the conversation.
Okay.
You want me to just,
Okay.
I think you like the Senate.
Okay, go ahead.
You like talking about the Senate, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, I can.
I really
imagine.
do.
Yeah.
Not as
Because we
much
lost
as,
it twice.
Not as much as judges, but
Judges are my favorite.
Thank you.
Judges
You beat me to the punch.
but finish your thought. Mr.
No, but she
Kevin
got pissed
Blundo.
off about gerrymandering because they made some they quote screwed with her seat. I think she used stronger language than that, and I could appreciate that. Listen, call a spade, right? Then Horsford's district, the same thing. They boosted his numbers because it's been on the target list. And then District 3, same thing. They just boosted it. So they reconfigured things. I think 3 is probably a little bit more attainable than 4. I don't know what these guys keep doing. We just can't focus on one of these seats and have a pickup. But again, you need these candidates that look. I ran for Congress. Let me tell you, Steve, it's a different animal.
I think
It's an animal.
I think the party failed the candidates that was running for these seats. They weren't putting them out there.
Well, be specific. Talk to me.
The Trump rally, and
Uh-huh.
you don't see no congressional candidates going up there. I mean, Drew Johnson never went. Mark Robertson
Do you know something
never
that
went.
I don't?
John Lee never went.
Okay.
None of them went and spoke at a Trump rally. Not a
Who
one.
set up the rally? Let me ask you that. You feed me here because I don't know.
Well, the state chair will say it's the Trump team, and the Trump team will say it's the state chair. It's like it's like this. So I don't know.
If I have a rally, and
I'm
it's the
confused.
Leo rally.
I'm confused.
I mean, if I want to have Jim or I want to have Steve, that's at my prerogative. It
Mm-hmm.
ain't nobody else's business.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to invite the GOP over because isn't that the thing we're supposed to do?
And-
I'm going to invite you as
And look,
VITI. I'm
look
going to do
here,
things
look
like that.
here, Chief Blundo. We're not trying to beat you up. We're just trying to
I don't feel beat up at all.
understand what's going on. And one of the things I like to know: how does your endorsement process work up there in Nye County? Does the membership do interviews of each candidates? Does the committee interview the candidates?
Let me finish the first thought, and then we're going to jump to
Okay.
us local. All I'm saying is, I think it was in the name, right? These are Trump rallies.
Right.
So I don't have any specifics.
Yeah.
You would have thought I had like this special access card. I didn't even have nothing.
I believe you.
You
I
know,
believe
and
you.
I think that's part of the unfortunate. It's not happening in my county.
Right.
If you wanted a little bit more of an answer, I would suggest, maybe talking to Jesse or he's a chairman here in Clark. You talk to Chairman
I
McDonald.
believe you. But I'm saying the reason why I think that that we didn't win those congressional seats is because the party as a whole was not promoting the congressional candidates at one of the biggest rallies would be the Trump rally. And I think that's the problem.
I can appreciate that. And I can see where that's correlated. However, it was a Trump rally, not a Republican Party rally with Trump attending. So I think there's a little bit of that. I understand where you're coming from. At our local level, I mean, we try to promote everybody. But if you wanted to volunteer for Trump, you didn't care about Sam or you didn't care about John, you didn't care about anything else.
Oh, I went there for Trump each time. I didn't
Right,
go there
but
for
what am I
anybody
supposed to do? No, you got to vote. You got to make these phone calls for so and so.
Yeah.
So again, we're a volunteer organization. Everybody, so
Right.
they get to dictate as a volunteer.
else. We're a volunteer too.
Fair enough.
So tell me about your endorsement process.
Our process.
Your
So-
process.
Oh man, I'll tell you a little bit about the history. So our bylaws we had to make a change to allow the endorsements because I guess we were not doing endorsements. We're talking about over the last 10 years.
Right.
So the last cycle in 2018, I was endorsed by our party for my commission seat. No, excuse me, I misspoke in 22. And it was just very messy all the way around from that point. So we worked to clean it up. We wanted to offer interviews for everybody, but a lot of people presume I'm directly involved. Like, if I know the chairman. I removed myself completely from it. So we had a nominations chair. We had a committee. I saw emails
Who's
and
on
stuff.
a committee? Who's on a committee? Do you know?
It's chaired by John Shewalter and who was on there? Vin Suprenowitz. He was with the RJ actually for, I want to say 20 plus years. He used to do political stuff with them. And Miss Jane Davis. I think they had a couple other folks.
Did they contact all the U.S. Senate candidates? Because
you'd have to check.
Yeah, I was
you'd
told
have to
that-
talk with the chairman of that. Because again, I wanted to do this. I wanted to have a couple of degrees of separation.
Right.
Although I'm on these committees, I let them do their thing. They operated. I was running the party. Number two, more importantly, I had a job to do. We were in deep financial issues. That's how the party was left to me. Minus 1,000 was the bank account, okay? Because the bills were hitting again. So I had my obligation. If the party falls,
So you
we got a
removed
big
yourself
problem.
from the
I
endorsement
let
process.
them handle it, right?
But because
But every endorsement, so they made a recommendation, whatever that was. The body was the ultimate.
Tony Grady, they recommended.
The body was the ultimate arbiter. And the body's always going to be the final arbiter of these kind of things. So I'll give you a great example. If you're articulating for Stephanie, for example,
No, I'm articulating for everybody that wasn't called to go for the interview process.
Well, there's a lot of people that complained, cried, or whatever, and I don't know the specifics.
wasn't just Stephanie Phillips. It was also his name? Bill Con. What's his name? What's that colonel's name? I forget.
Oh, I forget now. Oh, wow.
It was all of them.
Yeah.
What colonel? Who?
Was that colonel that what's his name? That colonel that ran for U.S. Senate.
I can't remember.
Anyways,
Conrad?
Conrad.
Yeah.
Was his last name?
I don't know. I don't remember. But anyways, the only one that they were looking at was Grady. And he was the one that they endorsed. They didn't call anybody else for any type of interviews. They just arbitrarily went with him.
Well, I would say this next cycle.
It wasn't fair, basically, is what I'm saying. It wasn't a fair process.
You may not have felt it was fair.
Well, if they don't call everybody, that's not fair.
Well, let me ask you this. We have a lot of gadflies that run for office. We're volunteer.
We call them all.
God bless.
We call them all, and Jim.
You already got.
We call them.
manpower.
You should see. We call everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Does everybody show up?
No.
That's
not
why you call them all, right?
Not everybody show up, but we call the thing about
Is that
it.
the effort?
The thing about it that we want to make sure that we have a clear conscience,
Right. Yeah.
and we call everybody,
Like
whether they show up or not. It's on them. But we did our job, and we called them.
So how far
how
do you go?
democracy is supposed to work?
Let
Like
me ask you
everybody
this
gets a
question,
voice.
serious question, because now let me. I'm not going to talk any specifics of any candidates that happen here, but let me ask you this real serious question: if you're running for office at, we'll call it, let's continue to pick on these federal races. You should have a team that knows to be in contact with every GOP body from here to Kingdom Come across the state. Hey, do you have an endorsement process? Hey, are you this? Hey, are you that? Right? Your team behind you should know all these things. So in my mind, if you're a serious candidate, you should be up you should be up my ass, right? Hey, Leo, can we show up at your Lincoln Day dinner? Hey, can we this? What can we do? Blah, 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 blah. If you value that party's endorsement, the local party.
But if they
And
don't
if you
know, if they
well,
don't know
then you
anything
don't got a
about
good
it,
team. Then what are you doing running for whatever office you're running for?
I'm sure when you ran for office, you didn't know everything that was going on either.
You're right. I didn't. When I ran in 08, I had no clue, and I got invited to the Maverick, and that was,
look.
I just spoke from the heart.
In our endorsement process, we call the candidates because they don't know the date, they don't know the time, they don't know the specifics. So we call them all. In 2008, we were interviewing all the presidential candidates. Bill Richardson. It was Bill Richardson,
former governor of New Mexico.
Barack Obama. Jesus, the names, Hillary Clinton. I mean, we were calling all those campaigns back in 2008. We were really, really involved in the presidential races.
I can really appreciate that.
You know,
and I'm not just writing anything off here. What I'm doing is I'm also taking notes on what you're talking about. What I hope we're able to have this conversation, this discussion. And I'm just saying, so you made a comment like, well, Leo, you didn't know everything. You're right, I didn't. But in 2014, when I ran for county assessor, Leo, you need to go get involved at the local party. I mean, I didn't know why. I just did as I was told. Mm-hmm. So, and we did not endorse. They didn't do endorsements at that time. So there's room for growth, change, and for betterment, right? Which clearly that's shown on what we did over there. Are you saying, Leo, you know what? I don't feel like the process was fair. Yes, I did have a candidate. Would you look at these things? Sure, I'm more than happy to do that. And we can have that conversation because, again, I told you from the onset, there was a couple of degrees of separation specifically because I know people. And I didn't want any type of favoritism. I don't think that was right. And I didn't want you to think that was coming from me specifically. Or no influence. So if there's something we can do to better that process, I'm all ears. Please tell me. And I applaud you for making those phone calls. But I also think part of the conversation you and I are having, all of us, look at the other side. You know, you got candidates that just run. I mean, there's one guy that runs for everything out there, and it's just,
Eddie Hamilton.
I
told him about it.
Look, I think Eddie's a nice guy.
We still called him.
We still called him. But you look at it and you go, like, this guy. Okay, let me give you another perspective. Okay, I've ran for office and I've served and I've done all these things, and which is fine. But I ask candidates straight up. There's really two questions, and I think anybody should be asking: how many doors have you knocked, and how much have you raised?
Yep.
And the answer in itself, how you answer that question, will tell you everything you need to know. Takes too long to answer. It's because they're looking for a BS answer, okay? If they're excited and they're maybe too excited, is it too much baloney on that side? A genuine answer. Hey, listen, you know what? I had a great day. I was out knocking doors. We got like 30, 40 yeses, and we look forward to hitting it again tomorrow. It's just really been coming together. We got a couple contributions. People are really supporting this campaign.
Yeah,
it's like, holy shit.
Political consultant when I was running for the assembly in 08. And I'm getting all in polling and like, where should I go with this and that? And it was Ryan Irwin. And he goes, here's what you do. Raise money, knock on doors. Ask for votes. That's how you win. The rest of it, like once you raise enough money, then call me and we can go from there. That's exactly how he explained it to me.
The basics he said are accurate, but there's like no plan. Like what? So you start. Okay, you've halfway solved your problem, which is right. You want to run for office, so you're at that question, right? So he said those three things. So you go, well, knock on doors. Well, what does that mean? So as soon as you ask the question a second time, you start working your way backwards, trying to figure out and solve the problem. Right. But it's not everybody has a skill set. They don't know what they're doing. They'll go get voter rolls. Well, I paid for them. Well, why don't you go to NVSOS? You can sign up. You get them for free. Why would you pay for it? It's there for free. Or become a part of your local party and maybe you get it for free that way. You know, I mean, I'm sure DNC has something similar to what GOP has.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
to get,
I'm
you
sure,
know, yeah.
Let's talk about a race that is in your neighborhood in Senate, State Senate District 19. That we really don't have a dog in that fight. That was the one with
I like dogs.
Chelsea Fisher, Huxtable, and John Ellison. How did you guys do your interview process in that one when you were?
You'd have to ask my chairman on that one. The
You
nominations chairman.
You had nothing.
I'm telling you, I know too many people in this business. I did not want anybody to point one finger back at me. You got to talk to the chairman of the nominations. That's out of my bailiwick. I let them do their own thing.
Man,
at
I
the
wish
end
I get
of
off
the day,
so easy like you do, man. Because when I do our endorsement process, I don't even.
my
sit
wife
on the panel.
takes care of all that.
I don't, but I get blamed
fine.
for everything, huh, Jim?
Yeah.
I get blamed for. I'm like,
well, I
It's-
mean,
it's
I don't
funny.
think it's blame. I don't know what.
oh, it's blame.
Yeah, oh,
It
yeah,
is
why is it
definitely
blame?
blame.
Yeah,
No, I get
no.
blame.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting too. And I just wanted to bring this up. Not trying to cut you off, Leo, but
I don't feel cut off at all.
here's the thing that always cracks me up is like I've had so many phone calls over the years. Oh, Steve Sanson, he's full of crap. You can't tell me he doesn't influence that vote. And I'm like, no, honestly, he doesn't. I mean, he's very specific about that.
So you could even appreciate my position. I know you. I've known you how many years? I've been on this show before.
Yeah.
I know so many people in this business. Shitty business, please. No, politics. Don't do it, guys. Just take my word. I know so many people on both sides of the aisle, just people in general, having served myself. I'm telling you, I just needed to have 3, 4, 5 degrees. I didn't want anything to do with it. At the end of the day, it was going to come to the body. I knew that, and the body was going to affirm whatever it wanted to. That's where those chips lay. You could have had 20 volunteers who were also members of the party if you wanted to really sway that vote. But again, at the end of the day, I needed that impropriety. I needed to be able to say, yeah, guys, hey, listen, this is where it came from out of committee. We had somebody who has experience doing this stuff with the RJ. They did vetting and stuff like that. We had a chairman who drove it, you know, and tried to keep the wheels moving. And look, it's volunteers. Again, these people got lives just like you do. And I appreciate, again, that you're making all the phone calls. But it gives you that deniability. Say, listen, we called you, bud.
Well,
That may be
Robert
something-
Madoff makes a lot of the phone calls.
Can we borrow him for a few days?
Yeah. Robert.
So let me also hit you with this, right? So we struggled. I'll tell you this. We struggled. I don't blame the clerk. The former clerk who quit, and I don't necessarily think too highly of people who just quit office like that because he didn't want to get sued. And I thought that was, I'm going to say chicken shit, okay? I got sued plenty of times while I was in office. It's just a part of the business, whether you like it or not, okay? He couldn't handle the heat, made a lot of promises, and then he quit. Fine, fair enough. But he stalled our ability to get, so like, you know, when you declaration of candidacy. Now, when a candidate doesn't fill it out, when a candidate doesn't, I'm talking about penmanship. I didn't see, you ever seen hieroglyphics? These are hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, I got my abacus. I'm just trying to figure this out. What the hell
don't
they
do
wrote?
penmanship anymore.
What the hell is this thing? Looks
Cursive,
like an
right?
eagle.
It's called cursive, right?
Is that your email? You know, square eagle? I don't understand what I'm reading here. Okay? It looks like a square and that looks like an eagle. I don't know. Is that an R? Is that what it's supposed to be? So if you can't articulate and put down on a sheet of paper where I can legibly interpret that to communicate you, because we did our best. I believe we did our best to communicate with people. What do you want from me? You want me to go hunt you down, send a pigeon to your house? For the deniability? Look, I mean, again, I think it's give and take. If you know we're going to be active, you should be active.
I thought they were doves they were using. They're using
Doves?
pigeons now.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
You're using the
I
wrong
didn't
bird.
know. I didn't know.
Hey, but
Forgive me.
I want to ask you,
Talk to me.
what do you think the governor vetoed SB 163?
You got to give me a little bit more details and information.
It's a gender bill. It's a healthcare gender bill.
Please.
Do you know? Do you know specifics?
I'm listening to you right now. Educate me a little bit.
You-
Share with me.
All right. It says Nevada Senate Bill 163, signed into law 2023, requires health insurance policies to include coverage for medically necessary treatments related to gender and dysphoria and gender in INCONGRUENCE.
Is there QRS at the end of that
No,
too?
no. This includes access to, oh man, they're using a lot of big words, and surgical intervention, as well as other treatments provided by a wide range of healthcare professionals. The law ensures coverage cannot be denied based on actual or perceived gender identity and establishes conditions for minors to receive certain treatments, including parental consent and recommendations for healthcare professionals. That's basically the gist of the bill.
Okay.
Do you have any?
And what was the question?
What do you think the governor vetoed that bill?
He did or did not veto it?
He did veto it.
I'm
Not vetoing. He did not veto the bill. Did not veto the bill. Did not veto the bill.
He did not.
Yeah. It's a gender identity bill. And why do you think that he did not veto it? It sounds to me like a Republican governor would probably want to veto a bill like that.
Well, I just wanted to take this opportunity to reintroduce myself. My name's Leo Blundo. My name is not Joe Lombardo.
That's why I said, why do you think?
Right. I just wanted to be crystal clear. I mean, I have no idea what he was or wasn't thinking during that.
All right. Leo Blundo.
Yes, sir.
What's your future in politics then?
Man, I don't know. I get asked all the time. I was at Home Depot.
Now I'm asking Leo Blundo. Should I go ask the governor?
Ask the governor. Yeah, I'll tell you. No, I think the governor's doing a great job. So if he tells me to jump in a direction, I mean, I'm inclined to go, sir, yes, sir. Very proud of him. Very happy with the work he's doing. I don't have an answer for you on this. I'm not the guy. I'm not Joe Lombardo on that one. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm asking Leo Blundo what he thinks about his future in politics.
My future, I'll tell you, I don't know what the future holds for me in terms of politics. I'm the chairman. I'll continue to be the chairman for the time being. I think this is something that's suiting. I was at Home Depot the other day, saw one of my constituents. I helped him big time in 2019. He was just building an addition to his house. The county was kind of giving him crap. And you're like, well, Leo, that seems pretty germane. It's like, well, he's been working on it for 10 years. He's a veteran. He's a senior guy, older guy. Look, if he takes one screw at a time, one day at a time, what do we care? I just say, put the set of rules that he has to play by, have a copy in his file, give him a copy. You visit him once a year, have a cup of coffee. He's a nice guy, and whether he's nice or not is irrelevant. But the rules at the time, he's following them. Leave the guy alone. What difference does it make? So I helped the guy, and he asked me the same question. He goes, Leo, you need to run. We need you. And I go, I'm just not at the point where I'm making that decision. There's no pressure to do so. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep it open. I'll keep an open mind to it.
Do you have any connection with Congressman Horsford?
I used to be able to call him, and then I ran against him, and then he stopped answering the calls.
Do you know he's trying to establish a homeless shelter up in Nye County? Do you know about that?
Yeah.
You do know about that?
Oh, yeah.
Could you elaborate a little bit?
Are you asking me what I think about it?
Yeah, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think
do you know how big it is or how it's supposed to look? Or?
I think it's supposed to be like 130 people. I'll be frank with you. If you build it, they will come. And that's a bad idea.
I know, just like the Flamingo.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
And then he got killed. What was that mobster guy?
Bugsy Siegel?
Bugsy Siegel, yeah.
But Flamingo's still there. Don't remember.
Yeah, it was still there.
The idea, the legacy is still there. No, I think a homeless shelter in Pahrump is a bad idea. We have a couple organizations in Pahrump. There's a gentleman who gets wrongfully blamed and accused for a lot of the crap out there. And I don't want to go names here right now. So I just want to leave it 30,000 foot. Let's just talk about the issue. You got two organizations. They bring people out there because they got quotas or it's a part of their system or they're milking the Medicaid, Medicare. And they love doing that. Let me tell you, government paid, government funded. One of the groups, they're in with the court system. So they love getting the system over there. But, if you don't pay or they kick you out, you're on the street. So that's facilitating part of the problem, okay? The other gentleman, he does just housing, rehousing, entry for people who came out of jail. But right now, he's just doing straight up housing. And he tries to help people, generally tries to help people. And I can appreciate that. And you're like, but Leo, and I said, well, let me tell you this. I don't see people lined up trying to help other people and just, whether you're profiting and making your own sustenance at it or not. I just don't see people lining up to deal with what you would say what would you call these kind of people? Help me here.
Oh.
I don't want to say like low class people.
Riffraff?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you see people? I don't see people lining up to go help homeless people or people
Right,
in
yeah.
need or less than or anything beneath. Okay, because I don't see that left and right. So the fact that there are people doing this, you should say thank you. But I think the problem out there is, just need a simple program to be able to, because I think a lot of it is, there is this mental health component. Mm-hmm. There's a component where, look, I'm homeless and I want to be homeless. Leave me alone.
Right.
And when I say homeless, they're just homeless. Yeah. They actually have an income, which is crazy. Yeah. Okay. And then you have the homeless veterans, and that's an unfortunate thing, but I think they fit into this category here. They just want to be left alone. Yep. That's the way they want to live. And I think you got to have a level of respect for it. But when the county's going around trying to stir it up, county's proud of busting people up. People, homeowners, property owners. They got to spend $30,000, fixing things back up because the homeless people were there.
Is there a homeless problem up in that county?
I mean, I think they got
how did they even
30
get
to 60
there to begin with? I'm not going to travel 100 miles to be homeless or wherever.
I'm telling you, the county's going about it wrong because the county is just displacing them now, right? They go here, they chase you out. They go here, chase you out. All they're doing is displacing, and that's not healthy either. At least when they're on BLM, leave them up there, and who cares? It's a federal problem. Stop looking for problems. But, we got bureaucrats in the county who've got nothing better to do except make their coffee and drive around and break people's balls. I'll say it. Whatever. These guys, like they got, they can't just enjoy the coffee at the water cooler. They just got to do it, act like they're doing something about it. I just think we're doing it all wrong. I think a shelter out there is a bad idea. I think if government's going to assist, they should be assisting through Salvation Army or any of the church programs. I think that's the right way to do it. Faith-based is a good way to do it because people are volunteering. They care. It's faith, right?
Did you try to reach out to Congressman Hershford and express?
No, like I said, when I ran against him, he don't answer the phone no more.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Maybe
cricket you.
Yeah, it was
is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like when Steve Sisolak
actually
became governor. All of a sudden, he stopped answering Steve's calls.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
They were BFFs before that, and then all of a sudden he becomes governor. And all of a
I
sudden
showed Steve a photo of my uncle. I said, him and I, we actually look very much alike. That's my uncle. And I showed him. He goes, yeah, absolutely. So, I'll show you too. I mean, there's my uncle. And I go, I said, listen, Steve, we actually, we have some similarities.
Yeah.
And he agreed, but I don't know, he got cold, and that's fine. That's his prerogative. He wants to play the partisan game, whatever. To each their own. I'm not interested in that. Never been rude, never been disrespectful, okay? And I'll end that part with this. The campaigns are the campaigns, and if he's not mature enough to understand that, so be it. That's on him. But the campaigns are the campaigns. There's a lot of gas, a lot of fire bombs, a lot of look. But after that, people need to be able to come together, shake hands, say, listen, it's over. Okay? And some people have a line, no women, no children, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to kill no women, no children. Mm-hmm. I think there's exigent circumstances.
That's an assassin's rule.
Well, in this business for me, you better stay, leave the spouses.
They might stay away from the children, but they might execute one or two women as they call.
Yeah, you can't have a woman with a bomb.
Assassin's rule, but at the end of it,
right? You saw that, what was it, the Chris Kyle movie?
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the movie, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Sniper.
Yeah. Right? The woman had the bomb, and she's walking out with the child. I mean, look, I think there's a line. When they cross it, they're a target. But no, the spouses, the families should be left alone. The kids, absolutely. If I got a beef with you, Mr. Jim, I don't like your policy is not conservative, or your policy is not doing enough. Right. Your policy, I'm not attacking the person. Your policy sucks.
Right, yeah.
You're a nice guy, but your policies stink.
Right.
And I think there's a distinction there. Yeah. And I think the politics, people start doing personal attacks, and that's where it gets, unfortunately, personal. So stay away from people's family. Stay away from their livelihoods. There's lines.
So, well, we appreciate you coming all the way from
That's it.
Trump.
I was told this is like a marathon special.
But I want to know if we left anything out that you wanted to discuss.
I appreciate you guys. I watch your show from time to time when I catch it on Facebook and clips here and there, and I can appreciate it. I think we all learned here. I apologize I didn't have more thorough answers. I think you would have appreciated it, and I'm going to do a little homework on that. But I'll tell you this. I can appreciate that you guys called everybody, and I learned that from you tonight. I'll definitely be sharing that with that chairman so we can better the process. And if you have recommendations, I'm more than happy. But be careful. You come with a solution. I'm going to borrow. What was the guy's name, Mr. Jim? The other guy that makes the phone calls?
Robert Madoff.
Robert Madoff. Dr.
Yeah.
Robert Madoff.
We're going to borrow the doctor. But actually, I was just thinking maybe in a more collaborative effort because we struggled getting candidates' info. I know we did do that. There's some people I said, listen, we don't have their shit. It is what it is. Okay?
I have a software I get people's information.
Okay, you mean Mr. CIA?
I put their name in, and I get their criminal record. I get their financial records. I get all the addresses they've ever lived. I get all the phone numbers they've ever had, all the emails they've ever had, and their relatives and their neighbors. So yeah, it's a wealth of information I get.
So maybe a little collaborative effort in the future.
When I talk to people, I kind of know the answer. In politics, they say you know the answer before you ask the question.
I thought that was life, but okay.
So that too.
I thought that was life.
I'll talk about that at the end.
I would suggest this in this next cycle. I mean, if we can communicate with you, if you're able to share, if you have like a master list, I'll tell you that we do struggle with that on our side. I mean, there is no quote master list. If there is, then I missed it. Again, I came into my chairmanship. It was mid-term. The one guy, he quit. He was a former officer, good guy, but he had some health issues. And you know what? It was just, he quit. Fine. He had a reason to. It was the doctor said, dude, you're stressed to the max. So I stepped in. Again, you saw the bank account. Bank account was here. We had to flip. I got rent. We got electric. We got bills, obligations, etc. And we were very successful. We were able to do that. So if something got glazed over or something was missed, I'm always willing to say, you know what, we can better the process. Let's revisit that. But we moved forward, Stephen. I want you to know that. So in moving forward, even here, if you have a list, I'm more than happy to let's work on that if we can collaborate. This way we're trying to reach out. I think you have, and I learned something, you guys do a nice program where you reach out to everybody, and I can appreciate that.
At least we do try. We do try.
Yeah. But you use a dove. Now I understand. I learned.
Yeah, you use a pigeon. The pigeon, they shit all over the place.
Listen, pigeon. What do you want from me? Okay.
Yeah. And they're called flying rats, man. The pigeons are flying rats. But doves are so cute and they cuddly, But look at the camera and you can say whatever you want. How to reach out to you. Go vote. Whatever you want to say as a final word.
Go vote. Right, of course, because in all seriousness, again, my name was Chairman Leo Blundo, former county commissioner in Nye County, and I appreciate the opportunity I had here to share my time with a couple of fine gentlemen.
Thank you.
And appreciate all the veterans in Nevada. We have over 7,500 veterans just in Pahrump alone, so I appreciate you, my hat, and salute to you. You can reach me personally. I'll just give you my phone number. So direct way to communicate with me, 702-595-2269. If you just give me a ring, shoot me a text. I'm more happy to communicate. If you have questions, comments, concerns, just let me know. We're here to help.
Well, thank you, Chairman Blundo. Thank you, Jim. Folks, that's Leo Blundo, Nye County GOP Chairman and former Nye County Commissioner. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows about our Christmas party that's going to be taking place on December 18th. And it's going to be at the new, the name, that you know that name, Jim? Tell me the name.
Yeah, I forget.
New Puts. Noi Puts over there at 1617 South Decatur, and from 6 to 8. Come on and join us. It's going to be fun. 2 hours of fun. They're going to be Santa Claus there. It's a free event. You can bring your kids. We're going to have food. It's a cash bar, so if you're going to drink alcohol, you're on your own. I don't drink alcohol, so I ain't paying for nobody else's alcoholic beverages, so you go buy your own little alcohol beverage. But the food is free. Come down and have fun. and get to know your neighbors, because a lot of people are going to be there. We expect over 100 people so far, and coming down to Neupuitz, and have lots of fun. Again, Steve Sampson, Jim Jones for Veterans in Politics. Until next time.